Rarely does a film come around that I can put on once every couple weeks and still have a good time watching it. Whether I'm drinking, hanging out with my girlfriend, or just wanting something in the background while I watch YouTube or browse Instagram, Skyfall is a movie that fulfills all those needs. If I was stuck on an island and I had to pick a Bond movie to keep with me, it would be Skyfall. The locations are cool, the story flows nicely, and the plot is interesting. The acting from Javier Bardem is pretty good as a villain. His motive makes sense, he's intimidating in a, shall we say, strange way, and I really liked his scenes where he was attacking Bond's childhood home. The story begins with Bond and Naomi Harris's character chasing down a villain whose intent is to steal a list of undercover agents. Bond ends up getting shot by accident, and the main theme cues. I'm gonna go and say Adele's Skyfall is a pretty good Bond theme. Not the best in my opinion, but pretty good would be the best way to describe it. One of the above average ones. Bond then elopes and becomes a bitter, washed-out ex-spy. It's very Jason Bourne-esque. He's seen not really taking care of himself, he's drinking, he's doing dangerous things for adrenaline rushes. They wanted to show the lack of self-preservation Bond now has after he feels he was betrayed by his own country. And I really like it. It's kind of trying to show a Bond that is at the end of his career. Later in the film, we see him arguing with the series' new Q about how Bond is obsolete and how Q can
More damage on my laptop sitting in my pajamas before my first cup of Earl Grey than you can do in a year in the
Bond
field.
being old news is a big theme throughout the 2 hours and 30 minutes. He returns to MI6 and he's unable to keep up with the qualification process. His wound gets in the way, he struggles physically. He's just a mess. My favorite scene in the whole movie comes when Bond has to track down the guy he was chasing at the beginning of the movie. He drives through Shanghai, China, which culminates as my favorite Bond scene in literal Bond history. He's driving through the city and the music is so modern espionage. He sees the guy kill a security guard at the door and goes up, and one of the best fight scenes in any Bond movie ensues. Again, I really love this film. I love the direction they took things. I loved the just taste behind every scene. The next sequence shows Bond in the casino. Again, this movie just has everything I want in a Bond movie. It's very special to my heart. He's had a great conversation with Q. He gets his gun. His task is to find who's been hacking into the MI6 and who's trying to kill Bond's very own M. Another great fight scene ensues, and Bond raising his drink to the thugs is one of the most satisfying Bond moments in all the films. The first Bond girl lets him know that she's going to the main villain's island, so he goes, he's captured, Silva gets sexy, and Bond uses a radio to signal MI6 where he is, and they capture him. Now, this is probably where the movie starts to go downhill a little for me. In short, Silva escapes, and Bond and M go into hiding using the famous DB5. They go to one of the most scenic places in any Bond movie, Glen Etive, planning on going there myself one day, to Bond's childhood home. Some traps are set, a helicopter explodes, Bond falls into a pool of ice and fights a guy very badassly, and finally Silva is killed, but so is M. I don't really know how I feel about M dying. I guess I don't really care. I like characters dying in movies. It makes the stakes so much higher and provides some realism to a movie that could otherwise be seen as cheesy. I thought killing M off was a good choice. Now, overall, I would give this movie a 9 out of 10. It's not Oscar-worthy, but it's my favorite movie of all time, and I'm able to look at it objectively and say that it's not a perfect movie like something like Django Unchained or Pulp Fiction. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up my review of Skyfall. Let me know down in the comments, please, what you thought of the review, what you thought of the movie, and I'll see you guys next time.